Hello and welcome to Shri Raj IAS. My name is Shashank Roy and today we are going to talk about some of the most important articles published in The Hindu. So, first things first, first of all, let's have some motivational thoughts. And today's thought is about execution. Average people have great ideas, legend have great execution. Average people have great ideas and legends have great execution. You may be great in terms of thinking, you may have so big dream, you may have a great thought process about the future, about life, about the jobs, and about everything. But what matters the most is execution. Execution is something which makes an average person and a superpower or a superman. And a man with great talents can become a loser if he is not in a habit of execution. Execution is a discipline. Execution is a habit, and it takes a lot of years to cultivate that habit. So, execution is everything, and that's it. So, today's article is about The Hindu. The conversation with Iran is continued. S. Jaishankar. So this article has nothing to do. I mean, no critical information you will get in this article. It's simple that you are talking to Iranian leadership, and it is difficult to communicate with the leadership because of this war situation, and that's it. External Affairs Minister has simply said that he is continuously in touch with the Iranian leadership and nothing else. In the past, India is constantly criticized because of its lack of response when Iranian ship was torpedoed by U.S. warship in Indian Ocean region. So India is under severe criticism. Apart from that, India is also going to face the heat of West Asian conflict. LPG cylinders price has been increased by 50 rupees or 60 rupees. Bangalore hoteliers are complaining that they are running short of fuel. Hotels in Mumbai are running short of fuel, whereas the government says that they have 25 days of fuel. If we talk about the Russia, we can import oil from Russia, but it will take at least 30 to 40 days for oil to reach from Russia to Indian refineries. So this is the situation, and I already spoke about the energy crisis and India's energy security, right? So this article, you can simply ignore this article. Nothing critical is there. Next article is West Asian dominates Lok Sabha resolution on speaker's removal not taken up. So again, you can also ignore this article, but I've taken it because I wanted to read what is the new update. But there is nothing, no critical information available in this article. Next article is related to bitter milk in one of the state in recently Andhra Pradesh. A poisoned milk was distributed because of which 11 people have died and 20 people are still in hospital. So this article will be covered at a later stage. And then Assam government hikes minimum daily wage of tea workers by 30 rupees ahead of elections. So this article is important. Why? Because last year the UPSC asked question about turmeric or turmeric board. Before that, there was a question related to coffee board, and coffee, tea, and basmati rice. These things will come into the news again. They are coming into the news again and again. Let me write it down. Please note it down. What are the things or the food items that are constantly in the news? The first is basmati rice. Basmati rice. Nowadays, Ramadan is going on, and Middle East is one of the biggest importer of basmati rice from India. But our basmati rice are stranded or stagnated at ports. We are unable to deliver, and even if we have delivered, we have not received any payment because of this conflict. So note down basmati rice. Apart from that, also note down that India has become the biggest producer of rice. Biggest producer of rice. Also note down. Again, there is another angle. There is another angle, and that angle is related to climate change. That angle is related to climate change. Climate change and water security. Okay, so now the question is, India has become the biggest producer of rice in the world, but is that the cause of happiness? Is that something that we should feel proud about? Yes, indeed we should feel proud about, because we started our journey as a food insufficient nation. When we got independence, we were a poor nation, we were hungry, malnourished, and we were broken. Then came Green Revolution, and we became food sufficient nation. Now we are the net exporter of food across the world. We are the food basket, one of the major food basket of the world. So this is a good news. But at the same time, because rice is a water intensive crop, in states like Haryana and Punjab and western Uttar Pradesh, the water table has gone down considerably because of the extensive rice cultivation and some other and rice cultivation is enough for us, right? In Food Corporation of India godowns, we have more than enough rice to meet any contingency. So should we keep on cultivating rice, or should we shift our attention towards pulses, towards mustard oil, or towards horticulture? Right, isn't it? Because rice is a water intensive crop. For 1 kg of rice, we have to spend at least 1,000 liters of waters. In Punjab and Haryana, we can see the dark zones, means the water table has gone down so much that you are unable to find out what is the depth of water, at what depth the water is available. So this is not at all a good news. But again, UPSC might ask question in terms of ranking. UPSC might ask question in terms of ranking. Okay. There is also one more keyword that is in the news, that is Kala Namak. Kala Namak. This is a rice produced, cultivated in Uttar Pradesh. Right. So basmati rice, West Asia conflict, and because of which the payment is stopped, or the 3 million tons of rice is stopped at Indian ports in coastal areas of India where we have ports. So basmati rice is one of them. The second crop that you have to pay attention to, edible oils. Edible oils, especially mustard. Mustard, because India has become a net importer. India has become a net importer of mustards. Mustard, not mustard, edible oils. Okay. Previously in 2022 or 23, there was a question related to Niger seeds. So remember, edible oil, mustard, and mustard is also in the news because of fungus attack, fungus infection or attack. So the first one is basmati rice, the second one is mustard, the third one is coffee, and the fourth one is tea, the fifth one is fish, especially shrimp. I covered it yesterday. Shrimp, right? So coffee, remember countries in terms of ranking. Remember countries in terms of ranking. Remember countries in terms of remember the climatic conditions for both. For coffee and tea, remember countries in terms of ranking. Learn about the boards, coffee or tea boards. Learn about varieties. Learn about climatic conditions. Learn about climatic conditions, right? Ranking, coffee, tea boards and their mandate, headquarter and mandate. Now, varieties of coffee and tea, and then climatic condition for coffee and tea, and areas, geography. When I talk about, first of all, understand the climatic condition and then map that climatic condition on latitude and longitude, so that you are aware about coffee and tea, not only about India in the context of India, in the context of world as well. So the coffee, tea and fish. Andhra is the highest producer of Andhra Pradesh. Right? Shrimp was constantly in the news. So these are the crops that you have to pay attention to. Now, let's get back to this article. Tea exports to West Asia take a hit as conflict shows sign of escalation. This is another article. Today's article is this one. Today's article is this one. This article has nothing critical related to tea and coffee. This is about the giving some higher wages to tea tribes working in Assam in the valley of Brahmaputra and Barak Valley. But few days back there was an article related to this one. Tea exports to West Asia take a hit as conflict shows sign of escalation. In UPSC 2022, there was a question related to Tea Board. The Tea Board is a statutory body. It is a regulatory body attached to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. The Tea Board's head office is situated in Bangalore. The board has overseas offices in Dubai and Moscow. So by answering these four options, you are answering four questions. Look at the pattern of question. First of all, they will ask about the status of, what is the status? The statutory body or statutory body. Regulatory body attached to nodal ministry will be asked. Then again, the head office of that statutory body will be asked. And then again, any other overseas office, right? So understand the pattern of question, and on the basis of this one, also prepare the same kind of information related to coffee, right? Related to cotton, related to mustard oil, related to coconut as well, related to shrimp, right? So this is how you prepare the question. Now let's get back to this article. First of all, look at the map. These are the locations where tea cultivations takes place. Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, right? Especially the major areas are Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and the valleys of, pay attention to here, in northeastern states and the southern states, North Himachal and Uttaranchal. Look at the valley of Barak River and Brahmaputra. And then come to Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. There you will find the tea gardens. Next is, which state is the largest tea producer in India? As per this data, Assam appears to be the largest producer of tea in India. Right? So, as per the image says, India coffee market key data. Coffee production, according to it, this is the 5, 6, 7 years old data. But you can understand, you can get to know about the two varieties of coffee, coffee Arabica and coffee Robusta. Right? Coffee Arabica and coffee Robusta. And here this is a well-defined data wherein it says the tea plantation you can find in Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Tripura, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala. Right? Because they have a humid climatic conditions. They have humid climatic conditions, which is important for these plantations. Okay, let me give you some more data. Please note it down. Some more data related to tea gardens. Wait a minute. Yes. So first of all, let's do a UPSC mapping, syllabus mapping. In GS paper 3, this will be related to agriculture marketing. This will be related to agriculture marketing. And then external trade and supply chain disruptions. External trade and supply chain disruptions. supply chain disruptions. In GS paper 2, this topic may become a part of international relations, right? West Asia, maritime security, global trade route. West Asia, maritime routes, and global trade routes. Yep, same. So this is what UPSC syllabus is all about. Let me give you some more information related to this particular topic. I'll give you ranking and every information that is required. Yep. So in West Asia, the important markets for Indian tea are West Asian market, West Asian markets for Indian tea. So use it in a rank-wise manner. Write it in a rank-wise manner. The first one is Iraq, UAE, Iraq, UAE, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Within West Asia, these four countries are some of the biggest importers of tea, Indian tea. Okay. Again, let's talk about the climatic conditions. Climatic conditions required for tea cultivation. Temperature is 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Then again, rainfall should be 150 to 300 centimeters. Right? Team, is that clear? The first slide was related to West Asian market, Iraq, UAE, Iran, Saudi Arabia. The second one is the temperature 20 to 30 degrees Celsius and rainfall 150 to 300 centimeter annual. Again, there must not be any kind of frost, right? Altitude is required. Why? Altitude is required because in tea plantation you have to ensure that the water they are being cultivated at slope, because if the water will be retained, if the water will be stagnated at the roots of the tea, they will be destroyed. So higher the altitude, better the cultivation or better the produce. So the height should be 600 to 200 meters. 600 to 200 meters from the mean sea level. Right? So these are the requirements related to tea. Please note it down. Yes, top tea producers. Let's talk about the ranking. Ranking in terms of tea. So the top position goes to China. The second position goes to India. The third position is held by Kenya. So these are the top three rankers. Please remember, India has become a topper, a champion in terms of rice, not in terms of tea. So do not have any confusion. Now, yep, this is it. So rest will be shared in the notes. I will share all the details. And top producing state, states ranking. The first position goes to Assam, then West Bengal, and then the third one is Tamil Nadu. Right. So these are the three states, and rest will be shared in the notes that I'm going to provide. Now let's talk about some heavyweight articles of the day. This is the Iran war intensifies India's strategic challenge. Right? India's strategic challenge. So let's talk about this article. But before that, let me show you some images. I will suggest you all to do a good number of mapping. in-depth mapping of West Asian countries, cover all the important choke points, cover all the countries, their neighbors in a clockwise and anti-clockwise manner, especially some important locations. For example, the Rafah crossing is here. The Rafah crossing. Cover the Golan Heights, the Sea of Galilee, Jordan River, Gulf of Aqaba, Suez Canal, Red Sea, Socotra Island, right? Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, and yep, Iran. Look at the geographical features of Iran. For example, the mountain ranges located covering or safeguarding Iran from all sides, deserted areas. Okay, uh, Tel Aviv, Syria, cover Lebanon as well, cover important locations such as IMEC corridor, and remember important nodes of IMEC corridor. Okay, so do a lot of mapping of West Asian countries and important water bodies, oceans, straits, and connectivities. These are some of the images. Understand about the military strength of Iran. There is an oft repeated word, excess of resistance. Excess of resistance. Right. What is this axis of resistance? Axis of resistance is the name given to satellite militia supported by Iran. Iran has proxies. Iran has satellite militias who are scattered around different parts of the world, especially in West Asia. At the signal of at the command of Iran, they can have devastating attack on important assets across West Asian nation. Let me show you through map on the map. Let's have a look at it. These are the satellite militias or the proxies of Iran, and they are collectively called axis of resistance. Right? So first look at, in Syria and Iraq you will find Asab al Ahl I mean Asab Ahl al Haq, Katab Hezbollah, and Badr organization is there in Syria and Iraq. The second one is Hezbollah and is located in Lebanon. In Gaza, Hamas and Islamic Jihad is active, and in Yemen, Houthis are there. Now, what they do, at the Iran's instructions, they are ready to do and die for anything. Right? They are in a capacity to attack important military installations, right? Desalination plant, power centers, submarine cable, or they can also choke, right? They can also stop or they can attack on the important choke lines and thereby impacting the global supply of oil, or I would say they can disrupt the supply chain of oil and important trade related items. So they are known as axis of resistance and they are proxies of Iran, right? If you look at Israel, they are surrounded by these proxies. If you look at Saudi Arabia, they are cornered by Houthis in Yemen, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Katab Hezbollah or Badr organization. They are the proxies and they are in the capacity of create destruction across West Asia, and you can see this. Lebanon, Hamas has attacked. Hamas had attacked Israel, because of which the war took place. And this is the second time when the full out war is going on. Israel says that Iran is an existential threat. So the war is going on, and this article is related to that only. So this article says that India in Iran war intensifies India's strategic challenge. So what are India's strategic challenge? First of all, let's talk about the stakes of India. But look, the first was axis of resistance, and after axis of resistance, let me show you the attack areas, right? These are the military bases of USA across West Asia, and they all got attacked by Iran and the proxies of Iran. By Iran or proxies of Iran. So this is their capacity. This is their capacity to damage important installations, important infrastructure, and thereby crippling the whole economy or disrupting the supply chain. Recently, Iran attacked Bahrain's desalination plant. In entire Saudi Arabia, in entire West Asia, they do not have fresh water. So what do? They have spent billions of dollars and they have desalination plant. Means they take the salty water of ocean and they filter it, and then they are able to supply the clean drinking water to the masses of West Asian countries. But they are under attack, because if desalination plant will be attacked, there will be a disruption of water supply in West Asian countries. Again, data center also got attacked. Submarine cables are maybe attacked in future, and if that happens, the entire continent will be under total blackout. Right? So these are the capabilities of Iran. Now the question is, what is India's stake? What are India's stakes in this conflict? What are India's stakes? What are India's stakes in West Asia? Right? The stakes are: India has a diaspora of 9 to 10 million. India has oil or energy related interest. India has massively invested in projects like IMEC or Chabahar. And again, West Asia, especially Iran, is a gateway. Iran is a gateway for India to Central Asian market. Central Asian market. Also a source of remittances and investment. Right? So these are India's stake in Middle East region. Okay? These are India's stakes in Middle East region. Now let's talk about this article, editorial. First of all, we'll do a syllabus mapping. We will do a syllabus mapping and syllabus in GS paper 2. Please note down the syllabus in GS paper 2 will be: GS paper 2 international relations. In GS paper 2 international relations, the topic will be India and West Asian geopolitics. India and West Asian geopolitics. Right? Now, in GS, this is a part of GS paper 2. India and West Asian geopolitics. The second one is changing global power structure. Changing global power structure. Third will be strategic partnership. So in GS paper 2, this editorial will collaborate with these topics: India and West Asian geopolitics, changing global power structure, and strategic partnership. Okay. Now in GS paper 3, this article will translate to, in GS paper 3, this editorial will have these dimensions: energy security, energy security. Then we have maritime choke points and global conflict spillovers. Maritime choke points, and global conflict spillover. Global conflict spillover. Right? बच्चे लोग GS पेपर 3 में, in GS पेपर 3 the topic will be integrated to energy security, maritime choke points, and global conflict spillover. So I've covered GS paper 2 syllabus integration is here, GS paper 2 syllabus integration is here, and GS paper 3 syllabus integration is here. Now let's move on to this article. What this article says. This article talks about the Iran war intensifies. The article examines how the Iran US Israel conflict is reshaping West Asian geopolitics. How Israel USA Iran conflict is shaping West Asian geopolitics. So a lot is going to be changed. Alliances will shift, loyalty will shift, right? Alliances will be broken down, and new churning is going to take place in West Asian countries. So this is a solid article. It highlights the strategic challenges India faces due to its interest in the region. I have already explained India's stake in Middle East countries. Now, because of this war and because of the spillover, इस वॉर के चलते जो स्पिल ओवर होगा उसके चीटे इंडिया पे भी पड़ेंगे, and how India's interest will be damaged, disrupted, or compromised. So, the flow of conflict. Now, the first is flow of conflict. The article is divided into different segments. So, the first is flow of conflict. How it all started. Right? If you look at United States of America's history, if you look at USA history, they have a set pattern. They went to Iraq, they went to Afghanistan, war on terror, right? They dismantled and they toppled the government. They implanted a pliant government, pliant regime, and you know what the history is all about. So, US and Israel collectively, they launched a preemptive strike. What is the meaning of preemptive? Means there was a risk that Iran was planning. They had the information that Iran was in full preparation to attack Israel and USA, mainly Israel. In order to avoid that, before the strike attacks you, you attack strike, and that is what's preemptive strike. That's what the logic of Israel given by United States of America and Israel, that it was a preemptive strike. In retaliation, Iran also attacked important military bases or energy centers or energy depots across Middle East. Not only Israel, but many countries came under the attack by Iranian forces. They attacked military bases. They attacked any base or any infrastructure which was owned by United States of America, or which could cripple the entire conflict, or which can tilt the balance in favor of Iran. So Iran and United States of America calculated, Israel and USA calculated it to be a very lightweight combat, that simply they will go, they will attack Iran and they will topple the regime, they will kill Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and they will supplant a puppet regime there. But what happened next was beyond their imagination. Israel and its proxies attacked massively across West Asia. They attacked desalination plant, they attacked data centers, they attacked the oil depots, they stopped the Strait of Hormuz, and they crippled the entire economy of not only West Asia but across the world. Every $1 rise, in oil prices will cost India $1 billion. If you go by $86 or $90, it means 9,000 crore rupees, and it will lead to fluctuation in terms of oil and oil prices, and it will lead to inflation. So Iran was misunderstood. Iran was, United States of America never calculated that within their drones and with the help of proxies, they will attack and they will damage enough to USA and Israel. Now, this article says that targets and actors involved Houthis, Hezbollah, and Shia militias in Iraq and Syria. Now, the conflict is spilling out. Earlier, the theater of war was only Iran and Israel, but now the entire West Asia has become a theater of war, and there is a risk of a spillover that this war may spread beyond West Asia. And that is a possibility because recently in India's exclusive economic zone near Sri Lanka, there was a warship which was going on, which was on a which came to participate in India's international fleet review. It was a friendly relation, and this ship in India's exclusive economic zone was torpedoed by USA warship. 87 people died on board, and 33 or 34 people got rescued, and Iran took the initiative of this rescue, and India lagged behind, because of which India got a lot of criticism. So it shows that the theater of war is spreading beyond West Asia. The theater of war is spreading beyond West Asia. This is called spillover, and it is going to impact India and countries in nearby location. Now, what was the strategic objective of war? What was the strategic objective of war against Iran? Strategic objective strategic objective of war. The first one is Iran's ideological influence. Break the backbone of Iranian influence in West Asia and thereby prove that USA is the net security provider in Middle East. So the first one, the break or weaken Iranian influence or ideology. When we say Iranian influence and Iranian ideology, what I mean is that we are also counting the entire axis of resistance countries and the satellite militias or proxies. The first was to weaken the Iran's ideological influence. The second one was dismantle regional proxy network, dismantle proxies. The third was reduce Iran's strategic reach. Reduce Iran strategic reach. That was the strategic objective of this war. Break or weaken Iranian ideology and influence, and thereby breaking the power of the axis of resistance, dismantling proxies one by one, and then strategic outreach, reducing the strategic outreach of Iran, cripple their nuclear power plants, cripple their weapon systems so that they cannot reach out to Israel or any other country which is under US influence. Right? So that was. Now Israel's perspective, what Israel wanted, right? Israel sees Iran as an existential threat. Israel sees Iran as an existential threat. That's what Israel thinks about Iran. The second one is missile capabilities. So Israel thinks about Iran that Iran is an existential threat for its existence. Though it is not clear, but it is believed that Israel has a nuclear power weapon. Israel has a nuclear weapon, though Israel has never disclosed it. Iran is very close or might have developed a nuclear weapon. Iran may have developed a nuclear weapon, or if not weapon, they may have developed a capability. They may have developed a capability to manufacture nuclear weapons. That's true. Right? What Israel wants? Israel wants to cripple its military capability, ballistic missile capability, nuclear power capability. This is what Israel wants. Why Israel wants? Because nuclear weapon states are never attacked. Nuclear weapons act as a deterrence. Nuclear weapons act as a deterrence. Look at North Korea. Look at North Korea. Look at India. Look at Pakistan. These are nuclear powered states. And you have to think 10 times before attacking them. And this is what Iran says, that if Iran thinks that if we will have a nuclear weapon, we will have a deterrence capacity against Israel or United States of America. And Israel knows it, that if Iran will have a nuclear weapon, Israel will be in tough situation. So Israel's thought process is nuclear ambitions, cripple the nuclear ambition, missile capabilities and regional proxies of Iran. I hope this is clear. Now let's move on to another topic. Let's move on to another one. What is Iran's strategy? What is Iran's strategy to fight? What is Iran's strategy in this battle? Right? What Iran wants? Proxy groups across the region. Iran uses axis of resistance. Iran uses axis of resistance or proxies to attack and damage the entire assets or nuclear infrastructure with the help of Hezbollah, Hamas, or Houthis. Okay, this is what Iran does. Now, this strategy helps Iran to expand influence without direct war and desired and deter adversities. So, proxies inflict these proxies inflicts damage without direct war or direct confrontation with adversaries on its land. Now, what are the major regional impact? Bachelo, is that clear? The first one is Israel nuclear weapon. What Israel thinks about Iran, and what is Iran's strategy? Iran uses Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis as a proxies to inflict damages and destruction across West Asia without getting involved directly in this war. But there are major regional impact out of this strategy. Gulf security architecture. Gulf security architecture. Now, Gulf countries are totally, after multiple wars, after World War II, Gulf countries totally relied on United States of America as a net security provider. Right? After World War II and after multiple wars and conflict in West Asia, United States of America claimed to be the net security provider of West Asian countries except Iran. But now what is happening is that all the military bases of United States of America, they are being attacked. Data centers are being attacked. So now West Asian countries are thinking that is it advisable to have military bases of USA in Middle East? Because of this, their military bases, we are getting fired, we are getting attacked. So it works in multiple ways, right? It works in this way. West Asian countries are major investors in US economy, right? Because they have petrodollars, and they need investments. So US, one of the biggest economy of the world, one of the superpower, all the West Asian countries have heavily invested in US economy. These West Asian countries have also supported the AI revolution. They have also got assurance from USA about the security cover. As a result, in return, what US gives to them? In return, United States of America has developed military bases across West Asia, whose maintenance is paid by the West Asian nations. Right? West Asian countries also heavily funded election campaign of Donald Trump. Right? So this is the give and take relationship. And because of this there is another angle to that. Why US does that? US wants to curtail the rising footprint of Russia and China in Middle East. Team, is that clear? What West Asian countries do? West Asian countries are one of the biggest investor in US economy. They are the biggest funder of AI revolution. They funded Donald Trump's election campaign. In return, US gives them security cover. Military bases have been built across Middle East countries as a net security provider, as a security cover, right? So again, there is one more aspect that US wants to reduce the rising footprint of China and Russia in Middle East. But there is a problem. The problem is that in the past 50 years, these countries have not developed their own security architecture, or I will say own capabilities. They dependent completely on US weapon system, and that is the problem. Now when their bases are being attacked, when their military bases when their bases when US military bases are being attacked, right, they are under tough situation. What to do now? We have completely trusted United States of America. Now we are being attacked. We are paying the price of being their allies. There is another question. There is also a question mark on the military capability of USA and Israel together combined. Earlier there was a myth, there was a belief that Israel has state of the art technology. Israel is one of the best country in terms of state of the art technologies and weapon system. But if you look at the current trajectory in the past 10 days, Iran has done a massive damage, and that too with small weapon systems such as drones. In USA, per second cost of this war is $11,000. They are using 40 million dollars weapon system to destroy few dollars worth of Shahed drones launched by Iran. So what is the cost of this war? And what is the capability of USA and Israel in this war against Iran? Do Middle East countries are also thinking that, are they secured under US patronage? Are they secured under US umbrella? So these are the thought process that are under discussion. Now, major regional impact is Gulf security architecture. Oil infrastructure is under attack. Maritime shipping routes are under attack. Energy supply chain got disrupted. Right now, Strait of Hormuz also military bases got attacked. Now Hormuz got blocked. If the Hormuz got blocked, it means there will be a supply chain disruption. Oil supply chain disruption, right? Now, what are the US strategic calculations? The US strategic calculation was to contain Iran, break the spine of Iranian capability, topple the government, and reinstall any puppet regime which is pro-USA. Once you establish a pro-USA regime in Iran, then again you can go for the loot and plunder of Iranian oil. Iran and Venezuela together, they hold 31% of the global oil reserves. So by toppling Iran and by supplanting a puppet regime there, the way you did in Venezuela, that was the plan, that they will be able to capture and control 31% of the global oil reserve, and by that purpose, by doing that, they will also stop the conflict or stop the powers of Iran to launch any kind of offensive against Middle East countries or US allies. The third was, this oil could have been routed to European Union, which is dependent totally, not totally, but major portion of European Union oil used to come from Russia before sanctions. So, in one shot, US wanted to do multiple things. First, cripple the economy of Iran. Second, topple the regime and supplant the pliant ruler who is pro-USA. Third, control the oil supply and thereby make the routes supply this oil from Venezuela and Iran to European countries, have huge amount of money, and thereby depriving Russia for their petrodollars and starving China because they do not have oil resources. So that was the idea of Donald Trump. But what is the ground reality? The ground reality is completely different. Now, risk of prolonged conflict. Global energy shock is there. Now let's go to why this war matters for India. Why this war matters for India? Why this war matters for India, right? As I already said, India has a stake in Middle East. I have already explained. Now let's go on to India's diplomatic challenges. India's diplomatic challenges. Diplomatic challenges of India. India maintains relationship with Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. So it will be very difficult for India to do a balancing act. It will be extremely difficult for India to do a balancing act when the West Asia is in turmoil. That is the diplomatic challenge of India. Next is India's strategic priorities as of now. The strategic priority is energy security, maritime route, diaspora, balanced diplomacy, and regional stability. At the same time, there is a bigger fallout, right? There is a bigger fallout in the world order. And what is that bigger fallout? The bigger, the biggest damage this war is going to happen. The way United States of America attacked Venezuela, or I would say abducted Nicolas Maduro, and the way US went against Iran, this is being watched keenly by Russia and China. Now, the more damage you do to Iran, the more assertive China will become for Taiwan. And once China launches an offensive against Taiwan, USA will have no moral ground to stop China. And if US intervenes, it will be a difficult, it may lead to World War III, which we are already witnessing. So China will go heavily against Taiwan. In the same way, Russia will get emboldened to capture entire Ukraine or capture substantial portion or refuse to go for any dialogue before entire annihilation of Ukraine. So this entire conflict will lead to major geopolitical disruption. Geopolitical order will be disrupted and changed, new alliances will be formed, and the world has become volatile because of this war. So these are the topic, these are the dimensions related to this article. I hope you understood it. Let's talk about another editorial, but before that, I will show you some other article. I'll give you some more article. Let's do some mapping. Syrian president extends support to Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah. As I mentioned earlier, as I mentioned, proxies of Iran, they together combine, they make axis of resistance. They make axis of resistance. These proxies are located in different parts of the world, such as Lebanon, Hamas, right? Then Hezbollah, in Syria. Third one is Houthis in Yemen, right? So proxies of Iran, they are the one they are a part of axis of resistance. This is coming into the news again and again. Now let's look at Syria. Remember two locations which may be a part of UPSC prelims. The question may be related to Damascus, where it is located. We all know the capital of Syria is Damascus, and the second one is Aleppo. Now, I want you to do a clockwise and anti-clockwise mapping of this location, clockwise and anti-clockwise, right? So it's Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, and Israel. Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, and Israel, and Lebanon. बच्चे लोग mapping Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Israel. Right? These are the countries. Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, Israel, and Lebanon. They are the neighboring countries of Syria. In Syria, there is Aleppo. Syria touches the boundary of Israel, and there is a landmark known as Golan Heights, which is in the news again and again for the past 4 or 5 years. So Golan Heights is surrounded by Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Israel. So this is the mapping part. One article is coming from, one article. Iran picks Mustafa Khamenei as the new leader. So this is the new update. Israel accused of chemical attacks in Lebanon. So here, two kind of chemical is being used. According to Human Rights Watch, the Human Rights Watch says that two kind of chemicals are being used by Israel, which is against the human right violation. So, Human Rights Watch, and Amnesty International has said that Israel is using white phosphorus. Israel is using white phosphorus and glyphosate against Lebanese people. Now, what is white phosphorus? Let me show you something. White phosphorus looks like this. It looks like cloud. In a warfare, white phosphorus is used to give you a cover. Let's say there is a boundary and I'm the commander. I have my army. I want to cross that boundary. So I will create a smoke screen so that the enemy is unable to watch me. Right? So that enemy is unable to keep an eye on me. So I will create a smoke screen. So white phosphorus is used in missiles or during warfare to create a smoke screen. But if white phosphorus is spread, there's a spray of white phosphorus and your skin is coming in contact, you will have excruciating pain. You will have a burning sensation. It will burn your whole skin up to the bone. And this is a grave human right violation. Russia also used white phosphorus against Ukraine, and Israel has used it time and again against its adversaries. So this is the new news. There can be questions related to the utilization or utility of white phosphorus. Right? There is another word, glyphosate. This is the weedicide. If you spray glyphosate on greenery or in trees and plants, they will be completely burned out. So glyphosate and white phosphorus both are in the news. Give me a second. Yep. Glyphosate, herbicide glyphosate, and there may be a question related to one liner can be there, so you can update it. Just give me a second. Okay. We are moving to the next article, and that is related to, yes, the second article, and that is a wonderful article. The lessons in national security. Yep. The lessons in national security. Sorry. The lessons in national security cannot be outsourced. So I would say that in simple terms, this article says that you cannot be dependent on other countries for your national security. So let me make you understand this entire editorial through diagrams. Okay. So first things first. First, we will talk about the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war. Right? Donald Trump is known as a peace negotiator. Right? Donald Trump is known as a peace negotiator across the world. I don't know what is his capability as a peace negotiator, but I think that instead of giving him Nobel Prize for peace, he should be given a tag of the crusader or the disruptor of global order, or the destroyer of global institutions. So let's talk about Russia-Ukraine war. In Russia-Ukraine war, Donald Trump has claimed and Donald Trump is taking initiative to ensure that this war ends. He is putting his heart and soul because he needs a Nobel Peace Prize. He wants to end this war. But the problem is he is negotiating directly with Putin, avoiding Ukraine and avoiding entire European countries. Right? So he is directly talking to Putin and ignoring Vladimir Zelensky and ignoring the entire European countries. By the way, if you look at the geography, this war is important. This war and the conclusion of this war is important for Europe more than USA. Because countries in Europe, they are thinking about what if Russia attacks their countries, especially the Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, or any other country. The question is, what will happen after Russia-Ukraine war? Will the Russia stop its aggressive behavior? In case if there is any future attack against any European member, will the European Union collectively be able to defend? Will the European Union collectively be able to defend its security? Or if not European Union, do you think that the France, Germany, or Spain, or Portugal, or Italy, or United Kingdom, they have independent capabilities to fight back Russian aggression? That's a big question. Because after World War II, these institutions trusted United States of America, and NATO as a collective security umbrella. They trusted completely, and thereby they stopped building up their own arsenal. They stopped building up their independent security architecture. And now they are totally dependent on NATO for their collective security. But the question is, we have recently witnessed the issues related to Greenland. Donald Trump wanted to capture Greenland by hook or by crook. Greenland, which is also a NATO member, there was a huge furor in European Union, and there was also a question raised. What if US exits NATO? What if US exits NATO? Will NATO be able? What will be the existence of NATO as a collective security umbrella? And who will give security to European countries in case of any Russian aggression against any other member of the European countries? So the lesson is that all these European countries after World War II, they reposed faith in the collective security umbrella of NATO and in the capability of United States of America. But now, when United States of America has gone rogue, when under Donald Trump leadership, or the Donald Trump himself is going to Venezuela, abducting the sitting president of Venezuela, then Donald Trump goes to Canada and offers that you become the 51st state of USA. Then Donald Trump goes to Greenland and demands that Greenland must be a part of America to stop the Russia and Chinese development in their own region. And by doing that, he is making European Union to ask this question: Are they secure? Are they secure from USA? Are they secure under NATO collective security architecture? Or are they capable enough to defend their territories in case of any aggression from Russia in future? So that is the question. Okay, so this is Russia-Ukraine war. Now let's talk about Middle East. What these Middle East countries did, again the same mistake that European Union did. These Middle East countries invested heavily their petrodollars into US economy. They have funded many projects of USA. They have invested heavily in AI revolution. They funded election campaign of many US president, especially Donald Trump, with the hope that in return, Middle East will be completely secured. There will be a security architecture in Middle East. In order to provide the security architecture, what USA has done, USA has built many military bases in Middle East. But in this entire Russia-Ukraine war, these military bases are doing more damage than security. Iran proxies have attacked all these military bases. At the same time, US ally Israel is attacking Middle East countries even when the negotiations are going on. Israel has attacked Qatar. Israel has attacked Bahrain. It is also reported that the oil depots were attacked not by Iranian missiles but by Israeli missiles, Saudi Arabia. So now, Middle East countries are again insecure in the same way the European countries are. Now, Middle East countries are thinking loud and clear that have we developed our own capabilities? What if the aggressive behavior of Israel is turning against us? What was the benefit of developing military bases in our own region? It has become a burden. It has become a burden. We are more vulnerable to attack. Now Iran and proxies are attacking on these military bases in our territory. They are choking the entire choke points. They are attacking the shipping routes. And all this is happening because of the USA and its ally Israel's aggressive behavior against Iran. Again, there's a question and there is a doubt as well. Should we trust United States of America totally, completely? Can we believe in the capability of Israel and USA that they will safeguard us? If you look at the past 10 days development, you will say no, not at all. Not at all. The way Iran has attacked multiple centers and crippled the economy of Middle East and disrupted the supply chain, global oil supply chain, it shows that Middle East can no more trust United States of America as a net security provider. At the same time, why United States of America is interested in Middle East for multiple reasons: to control oil, to control investment, to have investment, and also stopping Russia and China's rising influence in Middle East. So बच्चे लोग, is it clear? The first was related to European Union. Now the second one is related to Middle East. Now let's talk about India. What has India done? Look at these military bases. They came under attack because of proxies across West Asia. Now the question is related to national security of India. This article says that India is still one of the biggest importer of weapons in the world. Kargil Review Committee said, when Kargil war happened, Kargil Review Committee said that India should pay attention to the homegrown capabilities. India should pay attention to homegrown technology, weapon systems, platforms. India should depend totally in terms of weapon systems and platform. But till 2014, India remained dependent. India remained a net importer of weapon system, became the biggest importer of weapon, which is not a good news to be told. India became a net importer before 2014. The major sources of weapon system were coming from Russia. Russia still provides us at least 43% of weapon system. 43% of weapon system coming from Russia. In the past, after 2014, India decided to go for in the past in the after 2014, India decided to go for Make in India campaign, Make in India or Atmanirbhar, Atmanirbhar in defense. This is what India planned, right? So after 2014, Atmanirbhar defense, what happened? In Atmanirbhar defense, we tried to manufacture our own weapon system, manufacture own our weapon system, reducing the dependence on foreign defense equipments, reducing the dependence. Wait a minute. Reducing the dependence on foreign players for their weapon system, going for technology of transfer, having a joint venture or promoting manufacturing in India, and we've got wonderful results. India has also become an exporter of weapon system, exporters of weapon system, and in the past few years, in the last 2 3 years, we have exported $20 billion worth of weapon system. I think it's $2 billion of weapon system. We have also developed our weapon in joint ventures such as BrahMos, right? BrahMos. So this is what India has done since 2014. But at the same time, still India's major defense equipments are coming from 4 countries, such as in the past 4 5 years, India has diversified its weapon system, mainly India is going to USA. Russia is still an important defense importer for exporter. Then we are going to France for Rafale. We have Germany. We have Brazil, UK, and Switzerland. Why have we done this diversification? To enhance our security architecture, to have the best of the best weapons, because it is not advisable to keep all the eggs in one basket. So India has diversified its import of weapons from different countries, mainly USA, Russia, France, Germany, Brazil, UK, and Switzerland. From Russia, we are reducing our import dependence day by day. Collaboration is going high in with USA plus Israel as well. Okay. So this is one. But again, this article says that India has miles to go in terms of becoming Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense. So I hope that you understood the case study related to Russia-Ukraine war, the dilemma of European security architecture. I'm sure you understood the dilemma of Middle East countries with regards to USA as a net security provider. I'm sure you have understood the problems related to why India should be Atmanirbhar in terms of defense equipments, and yep, the problem with the India Kargil war, Kargil Review Committee, and what were the recommendation of Kargil Review Committee. Now let's do some writing. That's it, team. Yes, we have we have exported the defense equipments worth 23,000 crores, and we have reduced our imports to 25 to 30%. We have jointly developed BrahMos, HAL Tejas artillery system, and indigenous ammunitions. So what are indigenous priorities for India in this article as per the author? Strategic objective of India, strategic objective of India with regards to national security. So the first one is defense self-reliance, defense self-reliance. The second one is domestic weapon manufacturing, domestic weapon manufacturing. Third is strategic autonomy. Next is indigenous defense R&D. Indigenous defense R&D. And next is export oriented defense industry. Export oriented defense industry. So this is the defense self-reliance, domestic weapon manufacturing, strategic autonomy, indigenous defense R&D, and export-oriented manufacturing of the weapon system. And this is how we will be able to safeguard our national security instead of being dependent on someone else and outsourcing our defense security. So these were the heavyweight topics for the day. We learn about the white phosphorus, glyphosate as a herbicide which is being used by Israel and which is a violation of human rights. Then we learn about two articles. One is related to West Asia and India's energy security, and this one was the third one. So this is it for today. We'll come back with another session. This material will be shared with you in the PDF format with annotation and the clean one as well. You will receive two PDFs. The first one is the simple PDF, which is clean, which is not annotated, and the second one is annotated. So this is it. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.